this is Jenny from Just Being Me, and you're listening to the Learning to Love Yourself podcast, the show that inspires you to put yourself first.
Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness. Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness.
Welcome everybody back to my podcast, Learning to Love Yourself. I'm Jenny Field, an intuitive mindset coach. And today I'm with the very lovely Debbie Crouch, who does art for wellness. Debbie, say hello to everybody.
Hello. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I'm delighted to be with you today.
Perfect. Debbie, before at the end, when we talk about actually what you do, we want to do a little bit of who you are.
Yeah.
And you came to a place where you needed to start looking after you. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Of course. I mean, it was at my own mental wellness journey where after hitting rock bottom, I needed to find something for myself. And the thing that I found was art. And how I found it was that I very bravely went along to my local college for adults and signed up to do a learning to draw and paint course.
Wow. Because that's when you're feeling at rock bottom, that does take some guts to do, doesn't it?
It does. Just the thought of going somewhere new, meeting new people at the time, it just felt like a really big thing to do.
So how did you get that energy just to even go and do that?
Well, I had an open day, which you could actually go and meet the course coordinator. And I thought, well, that's not as bad as walking into a room full of people. You can get to know the person doing the course. So going to the open day, they made me feel so relaxed right from the beginning and showed me a little bit about some of the things that the course entailed. And I just thought, I've got to do this.
Wow. Did it light something up inside of you?
It did, yes, definitely.
That's amazing, isn't it? And because, when we do things that are self-care for ourselves, and there's that misconception about what self-care is out there, isn't it? But self-care is actually that thing that lights up inside of you, isn't it?
It is. You can feel your heart racing, you can feel your pulse going, you can feel your brain beginning to tingle because there's something, you just think, there's something there for me. It's just, it's lovely.
Oh, I love that. So you got yourself on this course.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then going on the course, it was learning how to do basics, whether it was mixing paint, learning to paint, learning to draw. But because you were in a room full of people that were all there for the same purpose, we still made friends and we had a lot of fun, and the tutor made it really interesting. And he kept talking about happy accidents. So if you did anything, it was always a happy accident. There was never a wrong way to do anything. It was just a real pleasure to do.
I firmly believe in that in the whole of life. Somebody told me what FAIL stands for, and it says first attempt in learning. And when you're in a situation in life where you something doesn't quite go the way you're expecting it to go, it's what can you learn from that? What can I learn from this? Not, it's all gone wrong, but what can I learn from this? It's a chance to learn, isn't it? So
I love that. Yeah.
Those sorts of accidents whilst painting is like, oh my goodness, look at how this has turned out. That's fabulous. Art from the heart.
It is, yeah. I mean, it was simple things like splashing colour everywhere and just being able to explore. Because they said there was no right or wrong thing about doing it. It's about being able to express yourself on paper. I found that I was really passionate about it. And I really enjoyed the people that was there. I met my now best friend at the time, which was wonderful. And although we were very shy and reserved at the beginning, we did build up a friendship over time, and we had something in common that we really enjoyed.
So not only were you doing something that lit you up inside, you took yourself to do something that actually created your tribe around you.
Yes.
And having the right people around you that understood what was going for you. Was that really important for you as well? Just the feeling that of the people that were there, as much as the fact that you were going to do art?
Absolutely. because you feel a little isolated as if you're the only one. But when you meet other people, and everyone's got their own journey, everyone's got their own story, but you build sort of a kinship between you, and you know that it's a safe space.
Yeah.
Where you can talk about things, you can share things. And that in itself was just perfect.
It's interesting. I've just had a conversation with somebody who's just literally just said to me, the pure fact that I've been able to talk to you about it has made it all feel a lot better. Because we create things to be much bigger in our head, don't we?
We do.
And by letting those words come out and knowing that you're in a safe space to say those words can change so much.
It can. And it's what you think when you go away and you realise that you were able to talk about things. You're able to listen to what other people had to say. And yeah, it's empowering and it helps to build your confidence. Definitely.
So you've taken that and that's brought you out of the bad place that you were in.
Yes.
Was it work that took you into that bad place?
It was an accumulation of a few things. The thing about mental wellness, I went through a situation where I was having a lot of illnesses where I was in a lot of pain. So I was working with the neuro team anyway, and they kept saying, oh no, you've got this condition, and they couldn't put down what it was. But finding out it was all related to your mental well-being, my first question was, right, what do I do now? So I was really lucky in the sense that they put me forward to have some further treatment to be able to help and support and understand. And it's being able to accept it. It's being able to understand that it's an illness like anything else. It's nothing to be afraid of or judged or...
We need to have, we have a society that tells us all the time, you need to go out and you need to exercise to keep yourself physically fit. We also need to do self-care to keep us mentally fit, you know. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that actually, if you don't look after your mental well-being, what your brain will do is make something in your body hurt to make you stop to listen. So you become physically ill, which enables you to stop so that you can listen to your mental well-being.
And I think what's happened in my case, it's definitely.
Absolutely. So you were able to identify those things. What was the first thing then that you decided you were going to do to change it?
Well, thinking about self-care and realising that you're not being selfish, that you have a right to do things that look after you, and that you can't look after other people and be a people pleaser and try and accommodate everybody else around you if you don't feel that you're in the right place. And it's learning to love yourself.
It's such a thing, isn't it? I think we get worn down by life that we just look after everybody else and not ourselves.
Yeah, we do.
And one of the things that I like to say to people is, would you say that to your best friend? Would you want your best friend to feel like this? Talk to yourself as if you are your best friend, because in reality, you are the person that you're going to have the longest relationship with in your life. And it may be a good relationship, mightn't it?
That's it. That's it. You've got to look after yourself. And I think as children growing up, we're not taught that that's something you should do. We're always told that you shouldn't be selfish, you shouldn't think of yourself, you should think of other people. But we're not taught that we have to look after us first and that we deserve it.
Absolutely. But I think, and I hope that is changing, because I think mental health has been brought to the fore so much more after COVID. And I think there are a lot of people who would have poo-pooed mental health until COVID, who then recognised, actually, I'm not coping here. And I think that is changing. But I'm a great campaigner for do your self-care in front of your children.
Yes.
So they see it as normal. So if you're putting up affirmations, tell them what they are. If you're, doing some breath work, if you're doing some yoga, I'm doing this because it makes me feel good. Do the things that make you feel good. So obviously you've identified your art as what makes you feel good. Is there anything else for you that makes you feel good that you use in your self-care package?
Definitely lots of things. One of the main things is going out in nature. I love to be outdoors. I love to go walking and see what's around me and embrace every season. Whether you're in spring and you're seeing the newborn lambs or the flowers growing, or whether it's autumn and the leaves are changing colour, there's always something that can be seen outside. Even watching the clouds. And I'll even say I've become a tree hugger as well. I love hugging trees. Yeah.
Me too. I have learnt the last few years that actually, if I let go of everything that's inside of me and I get into a state of just being, that by holding the tree, I can feel the life force in the tree. And people laugh at me for that. But, go away, try it yourself. Get yourself into a really good state of just being there, present in the moment, and hold on to a tree.
I completely agree.
You will feel that. You will feel that. You absolutely will. So being out in nature, you've just identified spring and autumn. But one of the wonderful things that I found, and I'm very lucky, I live very rurally, but recently I was in a town and I was walking around the town and just looking at these buildings and thinking, look at the way that because that's a triangular roof, that's throwing that light onto that roof. Or look at this weed, it's coming up through the pavement, even though all these people are walking on it and it's, there can't be any goodness down there, but it's still going, I want to live and I want to show you my flower. It's not always about being rural, is it? It's about actually being open enough to see the things that are around you wherever you are.
Absolutely. And sometimes we don't always appreciate the historical buildings around. Like if you go into town, I know I've been into Leeds and you look at some of the buildings and the architecture there, and it's just taking time to stop and really look.
Absolutely. And also in bigger cities, you get the opportunity to do a lot more people watching because there's a lot more pavement activity going on, isn't there? Yeah. And if I ever get the chance to sit outside, I'm always outside because then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, and I create all these lovely stories in my head. Oh, look, that person's going off to go and do this and they've got this in their bag. Oh, that's their supper. I wonder what they're having for supper, and I'm just chilling down from all of the things that have gone in my head all day long and just creating this wonderful fantasy world in my head that's just allowing me to have a little bit of pleasure.
Yeah, and it's harmless and it's fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing that came to me when you said about being in the art class and splashing the paint is that's something that children do. We get given all these rules and all of a sudden we can't make a mess. Something as simple as splashing paint, I could feel it when you said it. I thought, oh, splashing paint. That's messy, isn't it? And it's letting us do something creative. I mean, I sew, but doing painting or colouring, I like to colour too. I identified that with my children in the fact that I'd be the only one sitting at the table still colouring. They've all disappeared and I'm colouring away. And there's something that connects us with our inner self when we're doing art like that, isn't there?
There is. And one of the things I've gone on to do is more therapeutic art, and I like to call it bits and bobs. So you get a box, and whether you put lolly sticks, buttons, cotton, material, paper, collect all sorts of bits, and using that to make a picture.
And again, that's something that we would have done as children. It's something I can remember doing as children in the art class as a child and coming home, pasta. And, I can remember my children bringing me home gold sprayed pasta stuck onto a piece of paper, and being so very, very proud of it. And eventually that's okay, isn't it, to do that as an adult as well?
It is.
Because you find out what works.
Yes.
Oh, Debbie, you're making me want to go and find stuff now. For those of you that are on the podcast and only hearing this audibly, Debbie's background is a room full of art. There is creations. I can look and go, I could create something out of that. Oh, look, what's that? What's done there? What's happened there? And it's inspirational. It makes you want to go and do.
And that's what it should be all about, because it's not about making a perfect piece or following somebody else's and trying to do it exactly like them. It's finding your own style, just having a go and just experimenting.
And that may start off with getting hold of a children's colouring book. Or there's plenty of adults colouring books now, aren't there? Start off is doing something like that.
And I went into the home where my mum is because she's got Alzheimer's, and took some of the residents some colouring books and let them colour in, and just sat back and observed what they were doing. And some of them were saying, oh, my dad always used to say I was good at colouring in, and oh, this is so fun. And it was just a pleasure just to watch them. Yeah, and see how much they can get out of that.
I think it's absolutely amazing. And I've done a lot of work with older people, and that moment where you can see the light switch back on that is often turned off, that as simply as my mother-in-law was in a care home for a little while before she passed away. And something as simple as once a week, once every 2 weeks, doesn't make any difference, but somebody used to come in and sing the old songs with them. And it was songs that they knew from back in the day. And they would all sing. And if they didn't quite know the words, and some of them really didn't know the words, were using very strange other words, but it didn't matter. The room was lit up with energy, absolutely lit up with energy. And that for me is what we need to create. So we create it with our older people and we create it with our children. We need to create it in the middle bit, don't we?
Yes,
to keep that spark alive.
Yes.
So Debbie, I know you work in art with mental health. So tell me a bit about what it is you do.
I wanted to provide something that was free to those that needed it the most. Mm-hmm. With the lottery funding, I set up the free resource scheme.
Wow.
And on the free resource scheme, there's ebooks and videos to download to show you how to get started. So whether it was doodling, whether it's journaling or drawing or painting, there's resources on there that people can do in their own time.
But that's amazing. So it's free, Debbie.
It is. The first level of membership is free because I wanted there to be something there that everybody could tap into.
Fabulous.
And not only are the resources on the website, but I've also got the Facebook groups as well. In fact, lockdown for me was a really good time in the sense that I set up a Facebook group, safe space for people to share their artwork, talk about art, positive affirmation, everything in there. And it proved to be a really good success, which is what started me off in the first place. So we've got the Facebook group and people share their work on there and they build relationships. They get comments and feedback or the feedback on others, and you can just feel the energy and the joy of people that are in the group. So it just brings me a pleasure every day. So and then we've got the paid membership, which is like the next level up.
Yeah.
But the memberships that we offer, there's something there for everyone. And that's what it's all about. That's what I wanted it to be.
So if anybody's listening and feels like they just need to do something that they've never done before, or perhaps they've always wanted to give it a go, they literally go to your website and will find how to download something to get them going.
They will.
So we will put all of those links down below, Debbie, so that people have access to that. Please go and have a look because, I've had a few conversations with Debbie now, and she's so inspiring, so gentle with it. There's no forcefulness. You feel like you can do what you want to do because it's for you.
Yes.
So go have a look at her stuff and see where that takes you. Connect with Debbie as well. Get into a Facebook and go and find out about Debbie because that connection is fabulous too.
Oh, thank you.
Debbie, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. It's been lovely to chat, and we'll catch up with you again in a few months' time and see where things are as well then.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Are you feeling stuck? Do you want to be able to create a better conversation with yourself, but just don't know where to start? I offer a free 20-minute session to see where you want to be and how to get you there. Just click on the link below. Remember, it's free. Book your space. It could change your life.
Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon.